As consumers grow more health conscious, restaurants are working to keep up. Panera, responding to calls for clean ingredients, is now rolling out new healthier beverages and signs that indicate sugar levels and calorie counts. Joining us here at Post 9 for a change is Panera Bread CEO Ron Shaich. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Panera, Sarah.
Thank you. My high school nickname.
Yes.
So this is a big deal. You're the first chain to actually label the calorie counts on the sodas.
And the sugar.
And the sugar.
The added sugar.
What led to this?
Well, you know, we have a long-standing 20-year tradition of really trying to do what it takes to serve our guests. And it's very clear. We removed the antibiotics 15 years ago. We removed non-naturally occurring trans fats. 10 years ago, we were the first people to post caloric information. 3 years ago, we announced a no-no list, very clearly 150 ingredients, artificial colors, sweeteners, preservatives, and flavors we removed. We completed that in 2016. It's now time for the next step. And the next step for us is to really address beverages. And the real serious question we have in this country is the levels of sugar within beverages. And we thought the way to deal with people, to help them, to really help them, is to provide two things. One, real options. So we brought out a range of low sugar and moderate sugar beverages. They are essentially fruit and water and tea. And at the same time, we thought that information was power. And we want to offer people the opportunity to know how much added sugar is in a 20-ounce cup of soda or
So you have a deal with PepsiCo.
We do.
Did you talk to Indra Nooyi about this before you made this call? Is she angry with you?
Oh, I don't know what she feels, but we certainly spoke to the folks at Pepsi. They're aware of it. And I think that they themselves are coming from the same place. Ultimately, they're in a process of trying to evolve their business, a broad range of nutritionally positive foods.
So why didn't you just go to PepsiCo and ask them to bring more diets or pure leaf unsweetened tea? I mean, they're also, as you said, moving in this direction. Because
these are really craft beverages we make every day in every cafe. It's the Panera way. You know, Panera has a long history of taking products that have been heavily commercialized and processed, taking them and doing them the way you would do it at home.
Why do you got to rain on our parade? I mean, come on. When we're going to get a Dr. Pepper, we know.
Scott,
we know it's high calorie and a lot of sugar.
Fine.
Why do I need to see it in my face?
You have a Dr. Pepper. It's 64 grams of sugar. The USDA suggested allotment for sugar is 50 per day. So you're taking your entire daily...
Do you not drink it?
I do. On occasion, I do. But it's an indulgent beverage. It's a good thing to have when you want. But the reality is you have to think of it the way you think of candy. And you need to think of it in this context. One second. One Dr. Pepper is the equivalent of 2 large chocolate chip cookies at Panera.
So you're trying to sell less soda in your stores?
No, we're trying to offer options for people that allows them to make the choices they want to make. And the problem we have is we haven't had enough low sugar options that are really good and aren't filled with chemicals and preservatives.
Did you consider getting rid of soda altogether?
You know, Scott, I think that there's we're not the food police, and it's not our job to say to people, you shouldn't do this or that. What we really want to make sure we have are real options and real transparency, and leave it up to you to make the decision. You know, this idea that people eat in only one way is silly. You know, we were talking at the break, Sarah. There are days in which all of us decide for breakfast we're going to have something a bit more indulgent. Then we cut down on our calories or we cut down on our sugar or our fats later in the day. We adjust. And so all we're trying to do is do what it takes to take care of our guests, give them information and give them options.
We also talked in the break that your stock was killing it. I mean, you're not that far. Just what, 256, 52-week high is 260. Why do you think investors have responded in the way they have?
Well, the reality is Panera has been the best performing restaurant stock. We measured it over the last 20 years, barring none. It is singularly the best. And the reason is because we haven't focused on the stock price. We haven't even focused on profits. What we've focused on is making a difference in the lives of guests. 5 years ago, we began making a series of commitments. Those commitments included digital. They included a fundamental commitment to wellness and moving our menu to 100% clean. We made a commitment in a very real way to loyalty, largest loyalty program in the country. And recently, we've made a commitment to rolling out delivery, part of an omni-channel strategy. The reality is when we did it, nobody believed in it. Today, those are the themes of the restaurant industry.
So Chipotle stock has gone the other way, and I know there's a little bit of a public spat between you and their co-CEO who told Business Insider they're fighting for the bragging rights here. They're the first to go fully clean, that you're not really doing that because you still use industrial
Well, to be clear, I'm old friends with Steve Ells. I go back along. We've helped them along the way every time they needed help in a whole bunch of ways. The reality, to your point, Sarah, is we went clean over the last several years. We were the first restaurant company. I think Chipotle, we salute them for following us. I think this week they announced they were going clean.
Kramer this morning said that you have solved what he calls the mosh pit issue. And what he's been
with all due respect, Scott, right? Jim stole that from me. My line was the mosh pit.
He's been critical of Starbucks, and you mentioned this whole omni-channel thing. You know, it's like you order, you go pick it up, and then you got to body surf to the counter to pick up your sandwich. How serious of an issue is that for that side of the business?
It's a really serious issue. One of the reasons that we've been working on this for 5 years, we spent 2.5 years prototyping it. And what we found out is when you bring digital on, you unfetter demand. The demand lands into that cafe. You walk into a cafe that has digital at noon, you look at what we call the kitchen display systems where the orders are coming in, it lights up like a Christmas tree on Christmas morning. And the reality is what we needed to do was go back and re-engineer the operating systems to be able to accommodate those volume rushes. So it's not about digital. It's about operational integrity and total quality management as part of a broader guest experience.
Finally, very quickly,
Yes.
Ron, on the Trump agenda, you have a lot to gain from corporate tax cuts.
Yes.
You pay a high rate as a domestic restaurant company. Are you doubting that now after the health care bill failed?
I think we all have to doubt it. I mean, I think that we all have to really ask, where's the leadership coming from? Is Congress going to be able to get together with the president? And are we going to see the kind of public policy changes we all want?
It's a little less optimistic. Is that fair?
Yes, very fair.
Well, you're less optimistic on these key parts of the Trump agenda actually being put forth?
For sure. Are you not?
I mean, just because they failed on healthcare doesn't mean they're not going to do tax cuts or anything else. We got to go.
Right.
Ron, thank you. Good of you to stop by. We'll have you back on to talk more Trump agenda.
Pleasure to see you.
Ron Shaich is the CEO.